Welcome to Ginger Snapshots. I know that there is a lot of busyness behind me, but that is because that's what we're going to talk about, is all of this busyness. So today I want to talk to you about light modifiers. Yes, I have done some episodes on light modifiers and what I use and how I got started and things like that. But what I want to do today is talk about a review of what I use and maybe a transition to something new. And maybe I would love to get some input from you in the comments to say, yes, do this, do that, and to see what you use, what you think. So first I'll review what I have used, and then we'll kind of just talk about, why I want to switch or why I'm thinking about switching. And then I'm going to run through some tests of taking some test shots. And also I'm going to give you some ideas of how to put together the light that I just bought. Okay, so let's get started. All right, in the past I've talked about this. I started out newborn photography inside of my home studio, which was a spare room that was 10 by 12, so very small. And I started out with this 86-inch PLM. And then I quickly realized that that was going to be too large, and I moved to a 64-inch PLM. Okay, so let me just show you which one of these is a PLM. Okay, so this here, this one does not have a modeling light, so I can't turn that on for you to help it show up. It does, I can do a test shot. But this is a 64-inch PLM. PLM is Parabolic Light Modifier, and this is from Paul C. Buff. The advantage of this and why I like it is because it produces such a large light spread. And then also, hopefully you can tell in the camera, I'm trying to look, you can see it's not very wide. It doesn't take up as much room. So it produces a large light, but it's a little bit smaller of a footprint, so to speak. And so what I have decided, coming out here in the studio, moving into my 14 by 28, gaining quite a bit more room for my whole studio, I could choose which one I wanted to use. And what I chose and what I have decided for my posing table is that I like the 64-inch PLM for it. And I use I've talked about this, I think even in my last episode. I've got a Godox lighting that I just did, but the 8200 Pro. So I won't go into those details. Basically, I just want to talk about maybe modifying or switching or what should I do with the lights that I do have. Okay, so recently, a few months ago, I had my 86 PLM light on, and I had the modeling light on, and I allowed the diffusion cover to get too close and it burned a hole in it. So I was like, okay, I need to replace that diffusing cover. But then I started thinking, do I want to keep with that same thing, or do I want to get another 64-inch PLM? I belong to a group on Facebook of speed lights and strobe group, and what is the smallest thing that you get, and what do you think? And from what I'm understanding, there's lights called K-pop that are a little bit smaller or in width, so where they're not taking up as much room. And so I thought about getting those, and then I thought about getting a softbox. And I'll tell you why I thought about the softbox. The advantage of softboxes are that they produce nice catch lights in the eyes of the person being photographed. And because you can also do if you have a large enough softbox, you can actually do a backlit image to where the person is just standing, in front of the softbox, and it's a nice backlit image. Okay, so then I thought, well, what do I have? And I was trying to review and think in my mind of the things that I had bought a few years ago, and then kind of put them in the closet and hadn't used them. Okay, so I've used in the studio. I predominantly use my two PLM, big lights, and they've worked really well, I would say. With burning that hole, I decided to pull out this little 45-inch wing-like parabolic umbrella by Godox. And you can tell it's just really easy to take in and out. My light stand has a little holder, so you just slip it through the little holder. And it does produce a really nice light spread. I tried that out with a cakes mesh and a milk bath recently, and it produced nice images. I'll show you that. Here's the thing. I'm like, well, how come I don't know of anybody else using this? So I started asking some questions and searching YouTube just to kind of see who else uses it. And then I'm even in a little group of tiny studio photographers and asking, do they use that? Because this is advertised, I think it's on Adorama. B&H does not sell it. Amazon does. But it's advertised as being able to use this with a lower, shorter ceiling height. And I can see that because, it's going to take up a lot less room than a PLM would. And what I have found, like the reviews and the people that say that they use it, they've used these, and this comes in 45, 60, and 88 inches, I believe. And what they're using is the maybe 60 or 80 inch, and they're doing large groups. Like maybe you go to a school and you're taking a team photo, and it's working well for them. But I still was curious, if it's such a great light, why is no one using it? So then I decided, I think I really want to go for a softbox because of being able to have somebody quickly stand in front of it and do a backlit image if that's the case, and because of producing a nice catch light. And so I looked around, and the ones that are easy open, I really thought about that. And 3 years ago, I bought a 48-inch Godox deep parabolic umbrella, easy lock. Let me try to say all that for you. So it's by Godox, it's 48 inches, it's an easy lock deep parabolic umbrella. That thing is huge. And it was too big for me to have in the studio. And it says easy lock, but it is easy lock if you're a weightlifter. I mean, it's just crazy because like this, you just take it in and up. And I would say if you're a stronger person, maybe you can, and maybe it's just me and my age, or I don't know, being a woman, but this is easy to open, and you could call this easy lock. But that big 48-inch deep parabolic easy lock is not easy to me. I had to get my husband to lock it and unlock it, and that just frustrated me because I'm thinking, well, why do I want to have something that I have to have somebody else help me with? So that kind of like, that's out of it. It's out of the equation. I have taken it on location, but again, I had to have my husband help me put it up and put it down. And so I just wanted to have something that I could do myself, when I'm working in the studio. Okay, so let's review. I've used deep parabolic, ruled it out, too hard to put together. I have 2 PLMs, and then I have the 45-inch parabolic umbrella, wing-like. And then I have it from like years ago when we did some stuff at our church. We had some little umbrellas, and I'm going to, just for the fun of it, I'm going to take a test shot with it for you. These are like 33 inches, so this is a black one with a silver back, and we'll throw that in there for the test shots. So here's the decision I made. I made the decision to buy the largest softbox I could, but I didn't want to go ahead and spend an extra $150 to get one that is supposedly easy lock or easy to open or K-pop or however you're going to say that, until I knew if that's what I wanted to use, because it's like I'm not going to spend that much money, $200, $250, and to have something that I'm going to put in the closet. That just doesn't make sense. And so what I decided to do was buy a light off Amazon for $50, and it is a 55-inch light modifier by softbox by Neewer. And I don't have any other lights by Neewer. I have my tripods, both of my tripods are by Neewer, but not any of my light modifiers. Most of them are Paul C. Buff and Godox. Okay, so here I'm going to try to give you a little bit of visual of putting it together. Okay, so here it is already put together, and you can tell hopefully that it's how huge it is. And this here is even raised up because I'm here. I had to lower it down a little bit. But again, it's 55-inch, and you can tell that if I do I take a shot of someone right here and just their face, it's going to be a nice backlit image. And that was something that I love backlit images, and it's just something I do. Okay, putting this together is a bear, and it does not have directions. And I think I'll switch to the video I did of putting it together. Okay, I am trying to do this with my phone just to kind of add this to it. So these rods go in, but I will tell you this. this is a very tight fit to get these little rods inside of here. You can see it's just, it doesn't even look like it's a lip. And so that's the biggest problem. And what I have learned really quick is to put this little rod inside here before putting in the pole. Because so the rod has to go in the little lip right there, and then it has to go down to one of the holes in the ring. And once it's in the ring, you cannot really stretch this at all. So I had put this in in the ring first, and I couldn't get it. There's no way I could even force it. So I had to take it out of the ring, which is not easy either. And now I'm going to reinsert it. But that's my last one. This is how large it is, and I've got the rings in there. So now I just have to add the diffusing covers and attach it to the light. So let's do that. So each one of these, this is the inside diffusion cover. Again, there's no directions, so I'm doing this just from my experience with the Godox that had no directions and that I had to look up. That is really truly a pain in the butt. But you're wanting to attach it inside, and like I said, no directions, so I'm assuming that's where you're going to put it because it's the only other place to attach it is to those little elastic pieces. But there's a little, like a paper clip type thing with elastic, so that's what I'm going to do that. And ta-da! Here we go. All right, but I'll just show you real quick. You have an inner diffusion cover for it, and then you have this outer one, and this outer one just velcros to it. It has this one comes with a Bowens mount, and that is what fits on the back of my Godox lights. At least this one it does. The AD200 has an adapter. And now I want to do a few test shots to see which one do you think is the best. And I did actually do some test shots already, but I used different lights. So this time I'm going to do some test shots, and I'm going to do it using the same light. And what I have in here is my Flashpoint Studio 13 R2 light, which is the generic version of Godox. It's the Adorama version of a Godox light. So this is basically a Godox light, and it's 300 instead of the AD200 is 200. So I'm going to try to keep the light stand and the tripod in the same spot for each of the test sessions, and tell me what you think. Okay, now that we've got those out of the way, let's compare them and tell me what you think. So first up is the newer 55-inch softbox Octabox. Here we have it, and just look at what do you think of the shadows? And do you see hot spots, shadows on the backdrop? Okay. All right, and now let's take a look at the 64-inch PLM light. All right, and now let's take a look at the 45-inch wing light umbrella light. What do you think? And now let's take a look at this 33-inch silver umbrella it was part of a Limo Studio kit that we did for stationary lighting for doing videos. Okay, here's my opinion. Here's what my take is. When I first saw the differences, I was really surprised on how much I liked that newer softbox. So putting that together was a bear. I didn't like it. And then also, I don't like how large it is. It is huge and it's taking up so much space here. My whole idea is to save space. And, but then when I saw the light, I was like, oh, maybe I do want to keep it. So now I'm going back and forth. And then I was really surprised that, you know, this little umbrella, this 45-inch umbrella here, that is so simple and takes up no room, actually produced pretty nice light. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I could try out the 60-inch or the 88-inch, and then when I'm not using it, you just pop it down and you put it aside. And then obviously, looking at this 33-inch one here, oh my goodness, this really, really illustrates the difference in light modifiers. There's hot spots on my face, and there's deep shadows on the backdrop. It really shows you, I mean, I'm glad I used this. It's not something I even thought about using, but I was curious. So, okay. So tell me in the comments what you think, and I think I'm gonna keep this light and give it out a try for a few sessions, and then make a decision on what I want to do. I still have my 86, and my 86 PLM, and I can use it even with a burnt cloth if I need, or a burnt diffusion cover. Either way, but that's it for this week. I hope you have a great week. Bye.